Did you know that honeybees actually aren't native to the US, that European settlers brought them over for honey production? However, there are tons of native bee species in the United States. There are about 300 different native bee species in Iowa alone, and about 1,200 native bee species in the United States. Although we just don't know about a lot of them, we're still learning and cataloging a lot of these species, and we don't realize when we're seeing a lot of them because they don't look like our typical thoughts of a bee. So they're not necessarily black and yellow. They could be a metallic color, they could be completely black, they could be a brown or a red tint. One of my favorite species is the blue orchard mason bee, and that's one that we have featured here in our new Pollinator Paradise addition to the Dickinson County Nature Center. So you can come in and in our amazing apples exhibit, you can actually dress up as a blue orchard mason bee. Now the reason that this is so fun to pretend to be is because blue orchard mason bees pollinate a lot of our favorite fruit trees. So it could be peaches or pears or apples, but they're really fantastic pollinators because their entire bodies are covered in hair. So honeybees actually can only put pollen in their pollen sacs, which are on their legs. However, mason bees can actually cover themselves completely in pollen, and they gather that pollen and nectar, and then they make little pollen balls, and that's what they use to feed their young in their nests. Now they're called mason bees because they actually use mud building capabilities for their nests. So they will go into a hollow stem or a hollow hole, and they will make a nest and lay an egg, and they will put in that pollen and nectar ball, and then they will seal it off with a wall of mud, and then they'll lay another egg and put in a pollen ball and seal that off with a wall of mud, and continue making cavities throughout their nest. And then those eggs will overwinter, they will grow and pupate, and then they will be ready to hatch out the next year and keep the process going. So blue orchard mason bees are a really, really neat species. We've already seen people in Pollinator Paradise learning about the importance of mason bees, or that mason bees even exist. If you want to learn more about the bee world or the pollinator world that goes beyond just our typical honeybees, come check out Pollinator Paradise in the Dickinson County Nature Center, where you can actually dress up as a bee, and you even get to use pollen balls to pollinate our apple trees here and see it move from tree to tree with the help of bees. It's all interactive and it's all free.